It happens in an instant.
I was in Bicentenaire, was testing my car.
What happened?
And two trucks went by me and they flipped over and they hit me. I thought they hit me because I turned around. And by the time I realized what was going on, it was already over.
And the effects can be everlasting.
Oh my God, I don't know. Even if you're foreigner, it doesn't matter where you come from, they have to touch you deep inside. It's very painful. It is very painful.
She's been receiving calls from people saying that there are houses with children who don't have parents in them. These are the two that have already come in from the earthquake.
Sí, son familia que...
So these two children there, their family died in the earthquake, and so she's taken them in here in the orphanage, but she anticipates there's going to be a lot more children who come and are in the same circumstances.
I'm standing at the corner of Boulevard Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Rue Pavé, right in front of my sister's drugstore. This is part of the rich people in Haiti. They have their business here, drugstore, wonderful store where they have all kind of gifts and everything like that. Now it looks like hardly anything.
When a disaster hits, the unaffected world waits patiently for images and information showing the impact of the disaster and the depths of the crisis. In extreme cases, like the earthquake that hit Haiti on January 12, 2010, the crisis is so overwhelming that it literally takes multitudes of people from around the world to help.
We mobilized 2 days after the disaster, and when we arrived, there were no systems in place. It was pretty much chaotic. The entire world ran to the assistance of Haiti, but that also created a fair amount of coordination and logistical challenge that we all had to deal with before we could cooperate and collaborate with each other effectively.
So she knew about the orphanage, and when the earthquake happened, she lives in the Dominican Republic and immediately came to the orphanage to see what she could do to help. She's a universal nurse, so she can take care of all kinds of different diseases.
Amongst all of the death, destruction, and ruined lives is a coexisting effort for survival and an attempt to help those in desperate need of assistance.
Haiti and Port-au-Prince, especially after the earthquake, was a challenging place to do work. One of the first reasons is logistics. It was almost impossible to find a vehicle and to find the fuel to power the vehicle. Distances that sometimes were measured in minutes became to be measured in hours.
A lot of the streets were blocked, so traffic was channeled into certain streets and was completely blocked. It could take 2 or 3 hours to go to a single coordination meeting. Agencies had to staff up, which meant more vehicles, and vehicles were not available to buy or to rent. Filling stations were closed, so all fuel was on the black market. So those were some of the physical challenges. The operational challenges are that, for instance, many agencies could provide water, but if everybody provides water to the same neighborhood and another neighborhood is left unserved, it's a coordination problem. So we had to be able to meet, communicate, and to divide up the work effectively.
When she came, she called the United Nations, and they came to check all the children, and a doctor came and took care of all the kids who were sick. There was a lot of respiratory problems because of the earthquake, dehydration, and a lot of problems with the skin, injuries or just rashes. There was also problems with digestion, probably due to parasites in the water. It's a problem universally in Haiti, and it's just because the trash is still in the streets and it's causing disease all over the place.
For many, the crisis is never experienced firsthand. But for those in the aid industry, the task of moving aid from donors to a disaster zone is highly complex. And often, aid workers are in a disaster zone for many weeks, months, and even years after the initial catastrophe. In this instance, we are following the progress of one particular nonprofit organization from Tucson, Arizona, WorldCare. WorldCare is a non-governmental agency, or NGO, that gathers donated supplies and moves them to a place in need.
This is the WorldCare team. We are out in the field. We're addressing the issues of Haiti. We have traveled from Tucson to Santo Domingo, and we will be heading into Haiti tomorrow to address the issues of the earthquake. WorldCare has provided close to $750,000 worth of resources into Haiti. One of our main goals is to educate the community on how we take supplies from the community in Tucson and around the country and get it down to disaster areas.
Getting into Haiti poses a problem for aid workers, as both the airport and port in the capital, Port-au-Prince, were heavily damaged by the earthquake. The members of the World Care team choose to fly by helicopter from neighboring Santo Domingo into Haiti, which allows the team to assess the magnitude of the earthquake from the air. Upon reaching their destination, the World Care team swings into action, connecting immediately with another NGO already on the ground, International Relief Development.
We met up directly with Igor, our contact with IRD. We got into his truck and he took us right to the UN camp. Dropped us off, we checked in, made sure all 4 of us were on the list and were cleared to be there, and then we went up and we drove down the road a little bit and set up camp.
With such a short amount of time in Haiti, the team has to use their time efficiently.
When we landed here today, we had an opportunity to get some directives from IRD as far as what's going on. There is a lot of activity. A lot of the organizations are now moving into the recovery and development of the long-term programs that are going to be on the ground here.
Having hired a driver and guide before reaching Haiti, the team is able to move around the city and take in the scene around them.
The conditions of the streets here are mud, gravel, concrete, cobblestones. Everything on those grounds, it's like the worst case scenario, and you cannot really get through it in a car. You have to have a 4-wheel drive truck, good tires, and you have to have a good driver who knows where they're going.
That big building looking at over there where the people are, it was the main office of the main telephone company called Teleco. Okay. Now it's down.
We did go by where the President and the Prime Minister are residing, and there was a very large protest walking towards their area, which caused a tremendous amount of delays in being able to get around. Just to go a couple of miles took over an hour and a half. Some of these groups don't feel that the things are going fast enough. They don't think that supplies are being met, and so they're protesting against the government. We were right in the middle of it as it was going on. Major issues about making sure that cameras aren't seen in some of these areas, because then you become the target.
And amongst all the traffic and confusion is a glimpse of the desperation of the local people. The team drives past the United States Embassy and sees a long line of people hoping to get visas into the U.S. Prior to reaching Haiti, the team decided to stay on the United Nations compound, which was secure and located near the airport.
We're literally on the fringe of the runway. The UN and many of the other peacekeeping forces around the world have convened on this area. This is where we pitched our tent, and we are in the process of kind of finishing our day. Pretty much everything goes dark in Haiti. Outside the parameter of here, it is not wise to walk outside because of looting and just the behavior of the people. We've already made a lot of friends with the World Food Program and other agencies that are on the ground here who are going to be doing the long-term distribution. Many of them have already been here for quite a few years. One organization's been here for over 30 years in helping with the development of the communities here, and now they've turned into a distribution site. It's starting to get a little more organized. There's a lot of military presence here. One of the essential parts of making sure that things get together is the fact that you actually have a BlackBerry or some sort of device that allows you to communicate via email or text messaging, which has been absolutely essential. The landlines are down here, and what has been down, a lot of the locals have stripped those products off of there and used the copper, selling the metal. So it's an important part of the tools that have to go along with today's emergency relief efforts. It is an amazing effort that's been going on the ground here, but everything is very rugged. There's no posh lifestyles down here, I'll tell you. We're happy to be here. We feel it's an important part of the process to make sure that our resources have a good way of coming into these environments, very destroyed environments, and again, recognizing the issues that go along with it, the securities, the supply chain process has to work, and there are so many agencies that are involved in that entire process.
The supply chain process. What does that mean? The earthquake in Haiti left thousands dead and over 1 million people homeless. In a situation like that, where do you even begin? How can you effect the most help when so many need it? For that, we go back to where the process begins, at World Care headquarters. Once the news of a disaster is released, World Care immediately starts receiving information from other aid organizations seeking supplies to assist the victims of the disaster. A team is pulled together to begin disseminating information about the disaster and to identify and assign tasks and responsibilities.
What we know right now is that we've got about $6,000 in the account that has been supporting the orphanages that are there. That is absolutely not enough money in order to manage this particular emergency.
World Care assesses its current supply for products that can be immediately shipped. Initial calls from the community begin coming into World Care, with people wanting to know if they are accepting donations for the crisis. World Care alerts the media, releasing a list of supplies that are most needed. Volunteers and supplies start streaming in. Supplies are quickly prioritized as World Care already has the infrastructure in place to manage them, and they are sorted to their specific product type. In an emergency situation, medical, hygiene, and food supplies are the most critical. The supplies are packaged, inventoried, weighed, and placed on pallets for shipment. Updated inventory lists are then sent out to World Care's collaborators for their review. In the case of Haiti, IRD is one such organization. After receiving the inventory list, they approve the supplies for shipment. The shipping company is contacted for pickup. The trucks pick up the supplies and begin their journey. In order for those in the aid industry to make a significant impact, it takes a huge team effort. And in a disaster situation, aid workers are battling time.
IRD and World Care have not been working that much in the past as organizations, but staff of IRD and staff of World Care know each other for many, many years. This prompted our collaboration, this disaster, and how we are trying to collaborate together is that World Care is providing commodities that are much needed in Haiti.
After connecting with IRD, who will distribute their supplies, the needs assessment team from World Care faces the next obstacles: getting the team into Haiti, securing warehousing, organizing distribution to hospitals and orphanages, and tracking supply. When working with foreign countries, it helps to understand the local culture, the current political situation, state of the economy, and the level of crime and corruption in a potential distribution area must all be taken into consideration. To better understand the current country in crisis, Lisa Hopper of World Care reaches out to her project manager for Haiti, Peggy Clark. The crisis of Haiti hit close to home for the World Care family. For 7 years, World Care has been supporting 2 orphanages in Port-au-Prince. This connection had already allowed for an assessment of the local culture.
It's almost like the city is one big orphanage because all through the streets you see children and you see massive swarms of people. They're not really doing a lot. We go to the store here to buy the groceries. They have the vendors and they're all lined up. There's a lot of garbage. It's just like one big dump. And the structures, people are crammed alongside each other in these little huts that they could sleep 10 to 12 people in a hut, and they take turns. This is their home. This is what they have. Zero infrastructure. Electricity is totally non-reliable. Running water. No running water. Water is brought in and put in a big tank. That water is not clean.
Continuing to support the orphanages in Haiti is of high priority to World Care, but with the earthquake comes a new challenge, an almost certain influx of new orphans.
She's been receiving calls from people saying that there are houses with children who don't have parents in them, and so she's prepared another house over there for children to come because she doesn't want to immediately mix the kids who are going to be coming in with the kids who have been here for a long time. So she needs resources to prepare that house. She needs beds, she needs sheets. They need someone to come and teach the staff here at the orphanage how to manage public sanitation, how to manage public health, how to manage the food better so that the kids don't get sick.
The aid effort continues forward, many aspects of the process moving simultaneously.
The most important thing to have when you are facing with the emergency of this scale and when you are in country several days after the disaster, the most effective way of providing assistance is by cash donations. Because containers, airplanes, logistically time needed for bringing commodities out of US to any of the major disaster countries, it takes time, and that time is something that is of importance here. So the first thing, if someone is thinking about donation, I would suggest them just to donate cash and let NGOs decide what is most needed stuff on the ground. We have several containers on sea already with a variety of commodities, starting from pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, hygiene kits, relief items, medical equipment, and all the other stuff that is needed on the ground. At this moment in time, we have a lot of problems with the logistics because main port of Haiti, Port-au-Prince, is destroyed and is not operational. Most of the cargo that is coming in country now is on containers, is coming through Dominican Republic, and there are many challenges to do that. One of the first challenges is getting armed security following a container from the border to the warehouse itself, because people are quite desperate at this moment and there is a lot of looting going on, and the truck drivers from Santo Domingo do not want to drive trucks through Haiti without security.
Back on the ground in Haiti, the World Care team continues its assessment.
Right now we're here at day 3. We're at the Port-au-Prince terminal for where all the shipping will be coming in. Some of the biggest issues right now is the fact that the port needs to be brought up so some of the large shipping containers can start coming in with critical medical supplies, as well as food and long-term resources that are going to support this community.
The devastation is massive. In Port-au-Prince, the downtown area was hit the hardest. While documenting the destruction, the World Care team is waved over by a group unearthing bodies with their bare hands. Continuing on, the team comes to the main Catholic church where the Archbishop of Haiti was killed when the church collapsed. Only 3 weeks after the earthquake, survivors have already set up markets and found ways to continue preaching their message to the masses. Tensions run high, and outbreaks of violence can occur at any moment. Out in the streets, the team becomes the target of a frustrated young man as he throws a rock at the camera. An argument between the locals breaks out. Within minutes, a group of men has diverted the angry man away from the team. The street quickly turns calm again. The destruction has no boundaries. The government infrastructure in Haiti has also been destroyed, killing many government officials and leaving over 3 million people in the capital city with little hope. Having taken in the scope of the destruction, the World Care team has a better understanding of the current crisis. Even with that knowledge, information on the ground is critical and ever-changing, often creating new challenges.
At the first days after the earthquake, the customs of Haiti was not operational, but now they are becoming more and more operational, and customs of Haiti is one of the most difficult customs clearing country in the world. We've been sending commodities to support population here, and it's been a challenge from the beginning. In order to have everything set up and prepared, we are using customs clearing agents and our participation at logistics cluster meeting that is organized by UN and supported by World Food Program. We will receive all the necessary support to avoid any delays and problems in receiving the commodities. There are 2 ways of bringing in security. UN is organizing convoys twice a day from the border to the Port-au-Prince, but on the other hand, shipping companies, they want also to be assured that everything goes well, so they will hire their own guards to go with the driver and follow the shipments in country. We now have several shipments on its way that are expected to come in next couple of weeks, and as soon as they arrive here, they are going to be distributed.
With multiple shipments scheduled to arrive, IRD and World Care must find additional warehousing for their long-term efforts. In preparation, the team identifies a potential warehouse.
An average warehouse here in Port-au-Prince, it roughly costs $12,000 a month. Before this happened, that would have been fairly steep, but because of the circumstances, that's about average now, which is for, say, a 10,000 square foot warehouse.
Warehouse is needed for several reasons. First reason is security. Sometimes container full of stuff cannot be distributed in one day. It has to be separated based on the targeted population that is going to receive the commodities. Haiti at this moment is a very unsecured country. You cannot just keep the container in an unsecured yard without any surveillance. If you do that, tomorrow morning you will not find not even container, not anything, not even one item in container. So warehouse is used for unloading of commodities and then dividing and preparing them for the distribution itself.
Having prepared for future incoming shipments, the team then focuses on supplies already in country. The following morning, the WorldCare and IRD team arrive at the interim warehouse at 7:30 in the morning. A truck is scheduled to arrive at 8:30 to move supplies to the epicenter of the earthquake, Leogán. Once there, the team will distribute these supplies at 1 o'clock that afternoon.
Here we're at the ADRA warehouse, which is Adventist Development Relief Agency, one of the very large agencies that have been on the ground here for many years. And IRD, International Relief Development, along with supply that we're receiving, are coming here into this warehouse. So what you see behind us here is a lot of resources that have to be brought into a secured environment for the next step, which is going to be taking it on those trucks into those local communities for distribution.
8:30 comes and goes. By 10 o'clock, the truck still has not arrived. Igor calls the trucking company and is assured that the driver is minutes away. An hour later, Igor places another call as the truck has still not arrived. Again, he is assured that a driver is coming momentarily. Finally, by 12:30, the truck arrives. The warehouse staff jumps to action and quickly loads the truck. Unfortunately, due to the delay, the distribution is postponed to the next morning.
Majority of supplies is going to be distributed through the orphanages and hospitals in Port-au-Prince. Also, IRD has focused its activities in city of Leogán, that was the epicenter of the earthquake.
It's a district, or here it's called commune, called Leogán. It's about 20 miles south of Port-au-Prince. It was much closer to the earthquake center, and 90% of the buildings were totally destroyed and 100% of the population were affected. 100% of the population is living in the street now. We now have a very effective group of, maybe a dozen international NGOs that have worked together to divide up the responsibilities and divide up our skills and complementary work in the Leogán district. There are about 150,000 people there.
If you're getting involved in health programs, the most effective way is to go through the hospitals. The main reason for that is that people here, as I said, they are quite desperate. And if you are trying to do any kind of distribution on the street, people will see that something is going on, and you will have, in 2 minutes, you will have a looting and riot, and it's going to cause huge havoc. Not even police and UN protection forces can sometimes prevent these kind of problems. I'm also a member of security cluster group, and I know that there are reports of looting of the trucks during the distribution reported on a daily basis. So it's just not secure.
Here we're right in the middle of Leogán. At this point we have been able to drop off the supplies, which are right over here in the back of the area here. And one of the problems was that once we got here, there was an issue with identifying the fact that we could actually come in. So it took another hour or so in order to actually enter the UN compound here. Now we're unloading, and then the distribution will begin tomorrow with the resources that were brought in today. Just to go 12 miles, it took us over 2.5 hours to get to this location. What should have been an hour and a half process took over 6.5 hours. As you can see, security is pretty tight here. In order for the resources to get distributed, it's been pretty difficult. We've had a lot of people coming up to our vehicles asking for resources, saying that they're not getting them, but they are getting them from this particular site. It's just that there is so much need in this community that we have to keep it coming. As we're looking at this whole process of bringing supplies from the United States and bringing them here to Haiti, it is one of the most complex processes that anyone can ever imagine.
And as one distribution cycle ends, another begins. This process will be repeated many times until the need diminishes or the aid runs out. But even with such a heavy burden, amidst overwhelming circumstances, communities pull together and help each other.
Oh yeah, there is a change. There was some kind of selfishness before, but now I'm probably still there with some of them. But at least now you can see that brotherhood things, you know, one helping each other. Matter of fact, you just film some. These people have no interest there. They're just digging, trying to get bodies out.
I've seen an amazing amount of local motivation. What I've seen is amazing examples of resiliency, of flexibility, of motivation, and of perseverance. And I've seen volunteer work crews helping to build structures so they could turn them over to other families. And I've seen volunteer security patrols walking through the settlements because the crime is very high here. And I've seen a tremendous amount of pulling together, more than I ever saw here, and a tremendous amount of community spirit that doesn't normally exist here, but people have risen to the occasion of the crisis, and they're really pulling together. It's been heartwarming is a difficult word in a case like this, but it's been very impressive.
Well, it's 110 degrees out here and it's about 90% humidity. We're at the end of our road to where we're going to have them distribute the resources that were dropped off today. The people in Tucson, we thank you for all the resources you provided to us, and the people of Haiti thank you as well. We want you to know what it takes to get your supplies to the people in need.
With their final day in Haiti coming to a close, the team's driver and guide insists on one more stop. Exhausted, the team follows him to a point in the city where the community once gathered for events and celebrations. From above, they look down upon a site which tells the story of the magnitude of need in Haiti, one of many. With a renewed sense of purpose, the team heads home, knowing that there is still much work to be done.